Hi, this is Ludy. If you happen to be seeing this in the first couple weeks of March, then you can actually enter to win one of our 12 full-ride scholarships that we're giving away for the summer and fall training season at Ellerslie. Go to Ellerslie.com to learn more. This series is entitled Ludy Wrestles with Five Magnificent Men. Do you guys remember Jacob when he grabbed a hold of God and wrestled? And he said, God, I'm not letting you go until I get what you have. Well, that's sort of what this series is about. You see, I'm going to grab a hold of 5 different men and I'm going to wrestle them because they have something that I want. Now, the 5 particular men that I'm choosing are sort of odd. Okay, I'm even going to admit that up front. And they're not the full package of what I want, but they represent something. It's almost like God has used them in my life and pointed to them and said, hey, Eric, do you see that? You see that quality? I'm like, yeah. You need to go after that. See, that's a quality that I have. And they just happen to be tugging it around. And in their imperfect way, they did. And so I'm going to grab a hold of these men and I'm going to wrestle for that quality that they have uniquely portrayed in their life that I know that God wants me to have in mind. I hope you enjoy. Fred Rogers. What an interesting character for me to pick. Now, since there was a movie made about him in a documentary lately, I think Fred Rogers is more on the mind of most people than he has been. It's funny because when you're a little kid, you know Fred. You don't call him Fred, you call him Mr. Rogers. And when I was a little kid, I knew Fred. I knew Mr. Rogers. But as I grew up, there was something about Mr. Rogers that I wanted to distance myself from. And it's actually the very quality that I want to point out, that I want to, what's this one called? Eric Ludy sacks Fred Rogers. I want to get something from him because he has something that I didn't natively have. I wanted to people please. I wanted people to see me. I wanted people to be impressed with me. I wanted to look cool. Mr. Rogers is not cool. And that is so intriguing to me because he had a passion for the weak, the vulnerable, and he was willing to look uncool in order to reach them. That is a quality that is so rare. When I got into high school or junior high and high school, it's like you don't want to say that you watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and yet you can't question the fact that Mr. Rogers seemed to genuinely care about people. And so it's, I don't mind Fred Rogers being there, but I don't want to be like him. I don't want to be mocked and ridiculed and to be the brunt of jokes because he looks weak. His strengths were gentleness and kindness, which is ironically the very armor of the Christian. We are to be known not for our muscularity and our coolness and how good our tan is. We're supposed to be known for our love for one another, our kindness, our gentleness. And so what Mr. Rogers is known for is actually very dear to me. And I just want to point that out. I want to go on record and say Mr. Rogers has something that Eric Ludy wants. I want to be able to see the weak, reach out to the weak, give my life for them, even if I look uncool in the process. Thank you, Mr. Rogers, for giving such an amazing example. Ellerslie Discipleship Training is all about going after the fullness of Jesus Christ. So we do a lot of wrestling here in Windsor, Colorado. If you've seen Jesus, you've seen his cross, and you recognize you're leaving something behind and you need to go after it, well, why don't you consider joining us for a season here in Windsor and let's wrestle to get the fullness of Jesus together. Remember, if you're seeing this in the first couple weeks of March, you still may have an opportunity to enter and win one of our 12 full-ride scholarships that we're giving away for the summer and fall training season in 2020. Go to Ellerslie.com to learn more.